So today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how to set up the CJ Dropshipping app and how to integrate it into your Shopify store. I'm going to show you all the features such as the shipping calculator, how to import products, and also how to use it for product research. This platform has a plethora of tools and it's a great alternative to use for much quicker shipping times in comparison to using, say, AliExpress for an example. There's also a very large range of products, and there's also the option to import any product from AliExpress and then they will get them in the warehouses, so then you can sell them and source them through CJ Dropshipping too. So let's get into the guide, let's set up an account on Shopify, let's get the store linked, and let's go through every single feature and also show you how you can find those killer products. Now the first thing which I recommend you to do is just scroll down to the description, and where you can see this free Shopify trial, I'd recommend clicking this link here. This is basically my own affiliate link, but it will allow you to get 3 months of Shopify at around $1 a month. All you have to do is obviously enter your email address and sign up, which I'm actually going to do for this video, and then we're going to jump to the link into CJ Dropshipping. So just quickly go through the steps, figure out what kind of store you're creating and what you're selling, and get signed up for a store, and then pick your brand name, which you can obviously change later. So as you can see now, it's building out my store based on the link that we followed, and it's as simple as that to get a Shopify store set up if you haven't already got one for this video. Now the links to actually sign up for CJ will also be linked below this video, so you can easily create an account on CJ, and let's just get started. Now the first thing which we want to do, which is the very first step, is we want to actually find the CJ Dropshipping app. This is so we can actually add it to our store and then connect it to their ecosystem directly through Shopify, which also saves a lot of legwork and stress. So all you need to do is press browse dropshipping apps. Otherwise you can also go to the left where it says apps, add apps, press any of these two, and then on here what you want to do is you want to click find more apps in the Shopify app store. This will take you to the app store so we can do our own search, and from here you'll usually find a lot of recommended apps. Now CJ is such a huge app with loads of great reviews that it's already recommended to us. Obviously if it isn't for you, you can just search it in, and you want to press add app. So from here we're installing CJ Dropshipping and we're going to integrate it straight into our store. So we're going to press install app over here, and now we're going to authorize it. So this is where we need an account. So as you can see, it says great, your account is online, you can authorize now. You want to press read and agree to the store authorization agreement. I'm going to press authorize next to my account at the top, and then you basically want to log into your account over here. Press remember me and sign in. Now when you've actually installed the app on Shopify, now it will say apps instead of add new, and CJ Dropshipping will be here. You can just press this to actually launch the dashboard, and now we have our authorization success, so it'll help make our business easier. Now it's going to come up with some prompts and some explanations. It's going to talk about what the business actually is. So it says, do you have products for your store? Well, we don't right now because we've just set up a new account, and it'll give us some videos on how to actually list products, how to import them. These are really useful videos which I'd recommend taking a look for the first time you use the website. Now this is the main homepage which you're going to want to actually familiarize yourself with when you use it for the first time, right? So over here is the shipping calculation. So this is going to show you the delivery time of everything, the standard delivery time for different types of packages. So we have the CJ packet, we have DHL, which is obviously the courier service, and we can see the delivery times for each type of packet type. Obviously the less you spend on it, the higher the delivery time is going to be, with the cheapest basically just being AliExpress duration and shipping, right? If you get the more expensive one, or DHL, you're going to get up to 3 to 7 day shipping from China to the United States, which is actually a really impressive number of days, because usually we're waiting multiple weeks on AliExpress. So if you want to calculate where you're shipping from and to, for an example, we have a few different warehouses on the CJ ecosystem. So they have China, they have USA, they have Thailand, Indonesia, and Poland. Now for the most part, you're probably going to be shipping from China. Sometimes you're going to be shipping from the USA. Now I'm just going to press China because that's the default, and you want to select your destination country. So usually it's going to be the US because you're selling to the US because it's the biggest market, but we could just select UK for an example, and the shipping method here, TikTok, which is pretty interesting, that's 2 days. So that's ridiculously low. So certain countries will obviously have quicker shipping. UK has like 1 day quicker shipping. We could select Kuwait for an example. They have pretty quick shipping as well. So you can select every single country and you can do your due diligence and research before you actually list the shipping times on your actual store. So that's how you can actually check out the delivery times. There's also a lot of different buttons you need to familiarize yourself with on the website too. You can have a look at a few different categories. We have Shopify, TikTok, eBay, WooCommerce, and a few others which are popular like Etsy. These are basically where you plan to sell to. So if we click any of them, for example, if I click on TikTok, this is going to take me to the authorization page onto TikTok, okay? So we can then authorize the store over on TikTok, but if we click on Shopify, we've already authorized our store just now. So those are all the platforms that you authorize this under. Obviously, they integrate into each one pretty seamlessly, so then you can drop ship on those platforms. Under warehouses, this just gives us a little bit of extra information about the warehouses that they have, and there's a few more warehouses than those which I mentioned mentioned when we're going over shipping calculation. So we have warehouses in Germany, for example, and if we click on any of these, it will basically take us to that version of the website, right? And basically we can have a look at the categories of products which are only shipping from those specific warehouses. So for a local business selling in one locale, for an example, if I'm a German citizen and I want to sell strictly only in Germany, maybe I'm doing my marketing to Germany only, then this is how you can see which products are going to ship from that specific country, which means you're going to get the quickest shipping times available to you, right? They also have a print on demand section. So this is pretty popular. This is where you basically design goods. So this could be things like t-shirts, flyers, mats for mugs, little trinkets and pet toys, things like that you can personalize and customize yourself, and then they will ship those out to your customers. So there's a lot of different print on demand apps, but they actually offer that too. So if this is obviously the model of your store that you want to go with rather than the normal dropshipping store for ecom, then this is also another method you can use too. Now over on sourcing, this is basically what we talked about earlier. So on sourcing, this is where we can post a sourcing request for their platform to actually acquire a product that we want. So we can obviously go to different platforms. So for example, if I was to go to AliExpress over here, we can press install now, and this will basically ask us to install their extension, which I'd recommend you doing because this allows you to use the full feature set of their website. Refresh the page after you've installed the extension, and then you want to click on source more, go to AliExpress, and on AliExpress we could find a product which we want them to source in their warehouses, right? So if I find a really cool product on this platform which they just don't have themselves, we can actually get them to source it. So I could go ahead, click on these hair clippers over here, and I could copy this URL, and then what I could do is I could go into post sourcing request, and we select the store, which is this one I've already registered, and the product tag is going to be a category. We enter the title over here, and we can actually search for it, right? I could just search for this title name. I'm just going to change the country to UK, just so everything's in the UK for me, in the English language. Then I could just search for this product name, or search, or we could go to existing product, right? We could paste the sourcing URL. So that would be this URL we copied before. We could paste that in sourcing URL here. We want to give them a description, the estimated quantity we're going to need to actually sell, and do we want to do drop shipping or bulk purchasing. Then we can select the target price, the destination country we want to ship to, which is why we'd use that shipping calculator, the title of the product, and also accept similar products. So if they can source us one which is similar to the one we've seen, will we accept selling that too? So this is basically like having your own remote sourcing agent by using CJ, okay? Because obviously when you're scaling your store, you want to eventually get a sourcing agent. This is basically exactly the same thing. So we can go source any products from external sources, just like I showed you before. So they do support quite a few different websites. These are all obviously Chinese stores. They have AliExpress, they have Taibo and 1688, and also Shopify if you find a product on someone else's store which you want to kind of grab and steal, right? You can use that for inspiration. So that's sourcing. You can also click on source more to do it directly from here. Under our services, this is basically where you're going to learn more about CJ and what they actually do. So you can have a look at the platform, how to do everything on the platform, how to do store transfer and management, automatic invoicing and payments on various things like PayPal. You can have a look at how they do order fulfillment, where the warehouses are located, shipping. So if I want to have a look at specifically DHL, I could check which countries and territories that DHL serve if I wanted to get the quickest option. There's also a help center down here, which is going to give you a whole bunch of information to a lot of questions, frequently asked questions, if you also don't find what you want right here. But let's scroll down a little bit and see what else is at the bottom. So there's a quick request for sourcing here. So we can do a quick sourcing request basically just from the homepage to global source in a cost-effective manner across a catalog of diversified products. So over 677 industries, under 48 hours response time, and look how many requests they're actually getting. Pretty crazy. So a lot of people are selling through this platform. They have hot selling categories, which we're going to move on to in a minute. I'm going to show you sourcing and finding winning products and then importing them into your store too. So I'll show you how that catalog works momentarily. There's also brand selection down here. So this is where you will find different branded products, which then you can obviously resell yourself. So you can purchase these or you can sell them yourself, but you want to make sure that they don't actually have branding on them, or at least make it so you can customize that branding, because you don't want to sell a different company's product under your own brand name. It's just kind of cheap. Now, what I really like about CJ is the fact that they have a few different recommended categories for products, and it's based on where we want to sell, right? So if we want to sell on TikTok, which is what the majority of people are using right now as a model, you can select this category and it'll give you some recommended products based off what people are selling already, and also just based off trends. You can have a look at Amazon. So if you're reselling onto Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, and also Walmart, you can't sell as a seller on Walmart, but these are products which have been sourced from Walmart, and also WooCommerce if we're using WordPress. Then they have the general recommended products category, which right now is going to be probably a mix between pet products and Valentine's Day, because Valentine's Day is coming up this next month, which is coming. I think it's the 14th. So that's basically the best products you're going to be selling right now, if you know what you're doing. And then it goes goes over how they actually source and deliver the products for you. You can also enter tracking numbers here. So if you have an order from a customer who's bought something, they want to know where it is, we can also cross-check the tracking for that package here, and we can have a look at the cost of that shipping and the time it takes. We can have a look at their partner network. So they're partnered up with a lot of these different brands, which I mentioned before, and they also do have an app version. So what's important to mention is you can use this app on the go. So if you've got an iOS device or Google Play, you can also use this too. So that's basically the website homepage. Now let's take a look at some of those features we mentioned before, right? So the main thing we're going to be looking at is trending products. Now, as you can see, this store that we have here is basically a skeleton store. So what I mean by that is we've literally signed up on the trial, which you can click below in this video's description if you want a free Shopify trial. We've basically used the trial. We haven't actually added a theme or imported any products. We're probably just going to select a basic theme and set up just so I can show you the process. But we don't actually have a store. This is a bare bones process, right? But it's going to show you how to actually import the products nonetheless. We don't have a theme. We don't have a niche. I'm just going to show you how to import anything because I want you to know how this process works. But by this point, you should have a niche already outlined, and you should be looking for a general type of product in that blanket niche based on your brand. So don't just start a random store and import anything, because you obviously need brand into it too. Now, I uploaded a 4-hour video course. It shows you everything. It's completely free. So you can watch that video and it'll show you everything on branding, finding a niche, and setting everything up before you actually start this process. That's completely free to watch on YouTube. Okay, so trending products over here, we can see some products in this list. Now, this has actually been pretty popular recently, this flame aroma diffuser. I'm not sure how much success people have found with actually selling this, but this is a pretty interesting product too. There's also new products. I'd recommend anything that you can sell to women, because they're going to obviously do impulse buying based on emotion. Anything in the beauty space, because that's solving a key problem. So if someone has like acne, for an example, that's something which someone actually needs. That's obviously a pain point in their life. And obviously pet products, because people have such an affinity and affection for their pets that they'll just impulse buy those too. So that's what I'd recommend when actually searching for things to actually look to sell. And obviously over here, this is what we clicked on before. So this is the so-called TikTok winning products. So this is going to be based off people's ads that they've already been trying to sell and what people have been trying to actually market through CJ's product catalog. So we can have a look for which of the products we want to import from here. There's going to be some pretty interesting ones. There's also going to be some gunk, which definitely won't sell. This is based on what you think is going to work. Don't just sell any from this selection. For an example, this, which is a forearm strengthener, that's probably not going to sell because that's such a generic product. Now, I'm actually going to take a look at this volcanic flame aroma diffuser. I'm going to actually import this. So we already have a video we can use, although this does have a watermark over it. So as you can see, this is the product. It shows the woman with the product. It's actually quite a high quality video, although it does have a watermark. I'm not sure if we can download that. As you can see, there's some high quality images which it will import with it, and this is what the product is. Okay, so it's basically an essential oil diffuser which is going to make the room smell better, I presume. So it'll show you the overview, so it'll show you the key points which we can actually use to market it. As you can see, it has a water-free power off protection. It doesn't wet the table. It's good for mindfulness and relieving anxiety, and it's quiet and comfortable. It doesn't make a lot of noise like a lot of these dehumidifiers do. It will show us the specifications, what are the measurements of it. We can plug it into our computer and just use it on the side of our desk, and we can use it, for an example, if you're a woman doing yoga. So there's some pretty cool avenues we can obviously promote this product as being useful for. When we found this product, whether you've been looking through the TikTok category or the other categories, how do we actually import this? Well, we press this button here, list. Now there's some other buttons too. If we already have the product in our store, which we imported elsewhere, we can then reconnect that to source it through CJ Dropshipping instead. You can buy it if you're looking for wholesaling, which you're probably not, or we can just press list. Okay, I'd recommend just pressing list. This will add the product to your store. We've already connected our store over here. If we scroll up, it says brand name store. This is the one which I added. Then we can obviously add the product based on our own specification. So you can obviously tick charge tax. That's going to be based off if you're actually allowed to do that as a registered company. That's also the same if you've registered for VAT. If you can have a VAT registered company, you can also charge VAT. Now it's recommended that you let CJ manage your Shopify inventory after you list this product. This is super important because then when someone buys one, it'll update the inventory, which is the number of products they have left, automatically, which you can't do manually because you don't have access to those numbers. Product type, we can press add new. So we could just type in like diffuser, for an example. This is just the category. The collections, homepage, the vendor, we can add new or we can leave this. And from here, this is where we can press recommended listing price, which will basically select a recommended retail price and shipping cost, which they recommended to us. So £44.31 in GBP. The price to actually purchase this on CJ CJ is $8.60. Then there's the shipping fee of $8.10 and the service fee and the total dropshipping cost over here. So if we cross-check that, it's $8.60 plus $8.10 plus $1.10, which obviously comes to $17.80. So $17.80 is the total cost, what we're actually paying for this product, right? And if we click recommended listing cost, it's $54.78. So if we listed this, it's $54.78 and then minus $17.80, that would give us $36.98 profit. But then we're probably going to spend, let's say, $20 a day on ads. So if we get one sale in a day, we're going to come out with $16.98 profit from that one product, okay? So this could be a profitable product with the lowest ad pay on TikTok as long as you make one sale a day, but you're not going to make that much profit. But if you can shift a few units, then it could be potentially a profitable winner. Then down here, this is where you can be shipping most of your orders to. So if your store's registered, let's say in the United States, you're going to select this as your majority. I originally signed up on TikTok ads in the UK, but my store was registered in the USA. So I had a problem there, obviously. So you want to make sure these are obviously right. And then shipping method, CJ Packet Ordinary is selected by default, and it'll give us the shipping times down below, 7 to 15 days. We can go down the list and it'll give us a different number. So CJ Packet Fast is 4 to 9 days. But remember, this is obviously going to change the shipping cost and it's going to eat into your profit margins, but it's going to give customers a better customer experience. So you'll need to redo the calculation. This has put up the total cost per unit by $3, have quicker shipping. Then you press list it now, and we can also select a vendor. I'm just going to type in vendor, press list it now, and it says listing in progress. You may check the listing status on the listing in the dashboard, and they can be managed in listed. Now this is important too. One thing to notice is you want to make sure that CJ is obviously handling your units, which we'll do momentarily. Okay, so now on listed it says successful, which means it should be now in our Shopify store. So go to products, and now we have our product in our store. So we can just go ahead and click this, and this is where we can change all of our information. So this name is just too long. We could just change this like to something a bit better, like your brand name here. Let's just say we were called Volcanic or something, and then we could change it to Oil Diffuser, just something basic, and then you could customize your product page. Obviously I'm not going to customize this listing. If you want to know how you can optimize your product pages and listing pages, do check out that free video course. It's 4 hours, you can watch it for free. I'll link that below. Here's where we can edit all the variants, right? So we have one variant. We can also change the price, but this is what we already set up on CJ, so I'd recommend leaving it. Now as you can see under products, we have inventory 7,267 in stock for one variant. This means by default it's already linked CJ as the fulfillment service, so it's going to automatically update this based on sales. So if someone buys this number will then go down to indicate the stock is less. So if this doesn't show for you, then I recommend going to this link over here, which is above to the left. Go to this link and it will show you obviously how to link it to CJ, so your product quantity of the units is accurate, which is super important. So we've now basically listed a product directly from CJ over here, and it's already on our store. Now like I said before, our store just doesn't have a design whatsoever, but we now have the store product here we've imported from CJ, and I'd recommend having further customization of this and making the listing better. But now if someone buys this directly through the store, it will buy it directly from CJ and then they will drop ship it. Now where it says this store isn't taking orders right now, that's because it's still password protected. I haven't made it live, but obviously when your store goes live, the process will obviously work. So the last thing is to look over some of the features on the My CJ dashboard. So this is basically where you go to the dashboard on your CJ dropshipping profile. There's a lot of information on here, right? So on the dashboard, we have our level on the website, we have the pending orders, we have coupons and cards, sales figure and the wallet, and our points, and the source products, which we've obviously acquired via sourcing requests. Now we do get certain points based on what we do. So if we order on the app, we've downloaded the extension and we've listed some products, this is how we get points to obviously level up. This is very similar to your Shopify dashboard because you can come here to get information on daily orders, daily order figures and profit values, and analysis for your shipping method statistics. There's also product recommendations. I wouldn't recommend this at all because it's still recommending me some Christmas products, but if you shift through them, there is actually some pretty good ones like this fruit tray and these other pet products here, which are pretty cool too to sell. Sourcing is what we had a look at earlier. Purchase list, this is where you make a list for wholesale products, inventory deposit, and basically manage and track sample orders or private inventory orders in this dashboard, okay? Which you probably won't need, but that's how you do it. Under my photography, this is where you can shoot marketing videos and photos. This is a pretty interesting one. You're posting a request for them to shoot you some high quality photos and videos, which you can then use in ads or for your store. So that's how you can get them to do it without you ordering the product sample at all, which is also pretty nice. Under inventory, this this is basically the inventory you have in your store. This is obviously if you want to hold inventory yourself personally rather than them just holding their own generic number. Wish list is products which you want to sell. Now, this is interesting, custom packaging. So this is basically where you can actually use custom packaging to sell your products. So this is particularly good with jewelry or item for women, like rings and necklaces and things like that. You can have custom packages like this ring box. This will obviously minus from your profit margins because you're going to have to pay for external packaging. But for Valentine's Day, for an example, this heart ring jewelry box is really nice. This is only $1.67, so it's obviously really cheap. And then you can use that to ship them in bundles with your chosen product. So if I'm selling a ring, I could then use this box to sell it with as well. And the customers receiving something in nice packaging is just going to improve their customer experience, right? You can look for the specific types you want. There's a lot of different plastic bags, wooden boxes and cases, and loads of different types like bags over here, okay? And you would click purchase, and you can also filter them by the different packaging material or search for what you want. And then it shows under my custom packaging. Alternatively, under my CJ, this is where you can submit requests for customization as well. So if I would press submit a request, this is where we can submit requests for custom samples. Orders is where we can have a look at imported orders, which are imported externally. This is unfulfilled dropshipping orders, which we have to authorize first so that we can see them. These are orders from our dashboard, which are unfulfilled. So we can sync those orders, we can search and create orders manually, and we can import orders from an Excel file too. Orders fulfillment, this is where when we receive an order, we can fulfill it. So once it's fulfilled, CJ will pack it and ship it to that address. Okay, and it'll show us if they're awaiting a payment, if they're pending, processed, already dispatched. So we're basically seeing exactly where each order is. Now the disputes, this is interesting too, because this is when a customer obviously has a complaint. You're going to see the disputes here, and you're going to have to manually respond to these, okay? So this is pretty important, and this is where you can also make a return, okay? So after sales returns, and there's a little guide here showing you how to actually return these orders, because you're going to want to return them to the supplier, which is CJ, rather than to yourself, because as a seller, I can't really do anything with the product because the whole point of dropshipping is me not holding inventory. I can't really do much with that if they send it back to me, which has happened before, which is kind of a problem, right? Now, order tracking, this is obviously, like I mentioned before, this is where you can see where it is in transit. So you can also provide this to the customer, but you want some kind of integration where there's an auto tracking service on your website's page so they can just do it manually themselves. Because if they have to go through customer support, it just adds to the stress of obviously the customer experience. Then we have products which we've connected. We have a section for print on demand, which I showed you earlier, and where we authorize our store. So like I mentioned before, you can also use these categories if you want to source something. So if I go under home, garden, and furniture, I could go to pet products, which is a popular category, and I could search for products over here. We could select the ones which have free shipping, which is pretty important too. And we could also filter by the warehouses, so where they're shipping from. If they ship from USA, we can obviously ship those out much quicker. And there's a load of different filters here, so supplier products and ones with product videos, minimum and maximum price. Obviously we want to sell things which are below $100 because then that's not a high ticket product. $25 to $100 is usually the sweet spot. And of course, this is how you do your product research and use the different categories and filters to then find your products. So this is how you would find winning products. Spend a few hours going through the pages and categories and then find something based on your own niche. So that's how to use CJ Dropshipping as a platform. I will leave the links down in the description below for you to A, sign up to CJ, and B, check out some of the most useful resources to actually learn as a guide on how to use it. Feel free to ask me any questions below too, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. If you're stuck or if you have any questions on setting it up, there'll be a free trial to Shopify down below so you can get started completely free and get it for £1 or $1 for the next, I believe, 3 months, and a few other useful resources below too, like the free course so you can learn how the whole process of dropshipping works completely free. And of course, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe for more business and dropshipping videos.